And look outward he did, calling the fall of the USSR the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the 20th century, and wanting desperately to revive its imperial legacy. That spelled trouble for Russia's neighbors, its so-called near abroad, particularly those with the closest historical, geographical, linguistic, and cultural ties to Moscow. And Kazakhstan was near the top of that list. It shares with Russia the longest uninterrupted all-land border in the world. At the time of its founding, there were as many ethnic Russians in the country as Kazakhs. And Russian, not Kazakh, is still the dominant language today. Which meant that from the time it became independent, Nazarbayev had about 20 years of breathing room. 20 years to create a distinct national identity and mythology. Which he did, at least as much as one can in a single generation. But by 2014, it was becoming clear its time was up. That February, Russia invaded Crimea, turning what was once a distant theoretical into an uncomfortable reality. Then, in August, Putin gave Nazarbayev the mother of all backhanded compliments, praising him for creating, quote, a state in a territory that had never had a state before, implying that Kazakhstan was something less than a real country, that it was artificial. And to cap that year off, oil prices plummeted, threatening both Kazakhstan's economy and the economy on which it most closely depended, Russia's. Putin, clearly, was eager to expand his empire, but Nazarbayev was eager to retain his independence. So, the two reached a kind of unspoken arrangement. Moscow would tolerate Astana's independence, but only if it stayed within its general sphere of influence. In other words, it could keep its independence on most issues only if it surrendered its independence on certain core, sensitive ones. Thus, it had to pretend to be Russia's ally, not to fool it, but to demonstrate the expected deference, in what became a kind of dysfunctional marriage. At the same time, giving Russia everything it asked for would defeat the purpose. The goal, after all, is to keep some amount of freedom. Kazakhstan has no desire to become Belarus, Moscow's puppet. For Kazakhstan, this means asserting its distinct non-Russian identity. It's in the process, for instance, of transitioning from writing the Kazakh language in Cyrillic to Latin, ostensibly for the sake of efficiency. It also pays citizens in the south, which is majority ethnic Kazakh, to relocate to the north, some areas of which are majority ethnic Russian. It claims its goal is to develop the northern economy. In 1997, its capital was even moved from the south to the north, where it can now exert more influence.